Hey y'all, can you hear me?
Hey, Andrew, we are live. So just so you
All right.
know, we are live to Facebook and YouTube. Thank you guys all for joining us. Thank you for bearing with us while we deal with a little technical glitch. But we are all aboard, and I'm going to turn it over to Andrew and our PYP rep, Basil, to take it from here.
All right, welcome to the Pensacola Young Professionals Forum for District 1 and District 2. Sorry about the technical issues. I'm actually working off of my phone now because we couldn't get my laptop to work. So all fun, right? Technology is wonderful. Basil, go ahead. You were going to make some announcements?
Yeah, I just wanted to welcome everybody. And again, thank you for bearing with us as we go through some technical difficulties. My name is Basil Klob, and I'm the Vice President of Economic Development and Governmental Affairs for the Pensacola Young Professionals. The Pensacola Young Professionals, or PYP, is a civic organization that's dedicated to being a catalyst for positive change in the Pensacola Bay Area. And first, I'd like to thank each of our candidates for joining us today and for your desire to represent our interests of the Escambia County and Tallahassee. And I'd also like to give a special thank you to our sponsors, of course, News Radio 1620, who has brought Andrew McKay with us, and then Seville Rotary and the Greater Pensacola Chamber of Commerce for making this event possible. For those of you who are at home watching, thank you again for joining us, and we'd love to know how you're watching us. So if you please share our live stream, whether it's on Facebook or whatever platform you're on, and then use the hashtag PYP Candidate Forum. That way we can know where you're watching, we can keep track of it and have a conversation online about what our candidates are talking about. Now this time I'll hand it back over to Andrew McKay, our moderator for this evening, to introduce himself.
All right, thanks so much, Basil. Yes, I'm Andrew McKay. I host the Pensacola Morning News on News Radio 92.3 and AM 1620. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not used to being on video. We do everything on the radio so we can hide the appearance, but we'll have a good time here tonight. So what's going to happen is we have representatives with us from Districts 1 and 2, candidates for a State House. Mike Hill and Michelle Salzman are the Republican candidates for District 1. Francine Mathis for District 1 is a Democratic candidate. District 2, we have Alex Andrade, the Republican. Chris Dosef was not able to be here. And Diane Crummell, the Democrat, are here. So we're going to, basically what's going to happen in the beginning is we're going to give everybody a little bit of time to introduce themselves, just to say hi for about 30 seconds. And then we'll dig right into the questions. So since I can't see anybody, it's just a little odd for me not being able to look everybody in the face. I'm going to presume that y'all are there. I'm working off a tiny little screen with my phone. So let's start with, in District 1, the incumbent, Mike Hill. Mike, take 30 seconds and introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Conservative State Representative Mike Hill. I was elected by the constituents in District 1 in 2018 because they understood that I stand for conservative values of limited government, low taxes, personal freedom, and individual responsibility. They elected me to go to Tallahassee to fulfill that, and that is exactly what I did. And should they send me back again in 2020, I will continue my assignment of fulfilling those conservative values.
Very good, and my apologies. Chris Dosef was able to join us after all. Hi, Chris. Sorry to exclude you in the beginning. So good to have you. The challenger in District 1 on the Republican side is Michelle Salzman. Michelle, why don't you take 30 seconds and introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Michelle Salzman, and I am a community leader, an Army veteran, a small business owner, a mother and a wife, and a cycle breaker, a difference maker, and a Christian. And most importantly, I am an effective conservative. I am endorsed by the Police Association, as well as the Firefighter Association and the Florida Medical Association. I am pro-life, and I'm the only candidate in District 1 with an A rating from the NRA, and I need your vote.
All right, very good. On the Democrat side, unopposed in the primary, we have Francine Mathis. Francine, nice to meet you for the first time. Take 30 seconds and tell everybody who you are. Is Francine there? Did we check her before on the audio?
I think I'm breaking up. Am I okay? Can you hear me?
You're good now. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. My name is Francine Mathis. I am running for State House Representative for the Democrat for District 1. I have been endorsed by the Environmental Caucus I'm a small business owner as well. I have fought with the Wedgwood area for over 8 years to try to get landfills closed down, to try to get the water back right. I'm a candidate that cares about the people. I have lived in this district all of my life, so I know the issues, I know the concerns, and I'm just ready to go to Tallahassee and fight for the people.
Very
That's
good.
it.
Now the candidates for District 2. We have Alex Andrade is the incumbent. Take 30 seconds and just introduce yourself, Alex.
Hey y'all, can everybody hear me? I just need to make sure I did make the sound check. But my name is Alex Andrade. I'm the Republican state representative from House District 2. I was elected in 2018, and I've been blessed to serve in a pretty tough time here in Northwest Florida. In my first 2 years in office, I brought back a record amount of funding for infrastructure and water quality. I've passed some of the most conservative pieces of legislation and policy initiatives across the finish line, and I'm excited to get back to work this fall to help address the issues being caused by COVID-19 and the issues that we're facing in our environment today.
All right, very good. Also from District 2, the challenger, Chris Dosev. Chris, welcome. Tell everybody about yourself for a second.
Yes, hello. I'm Chris Dosev. I'm a resident of East Hill. I received my wings here back in 1986 with the Marine Corps as a Naval Flight Officer. Spent 10 years on active duty. Flew during Desert Storm and returned and became the Marine Officer Instructor at Northwestern University. I'm a small business operator. I've been running a small real estate development firm for the last 25 years in Chicago and here also in Pensacola. My wife and I have been married for 34 years. We've got 8 children, 3 sons and 5 daughters. 5 of our children already completed college at the University of Florida, and 2 of our sons are currently serving on active duty in the United States Marine Corps. Hoping to get your vote based on my experience, my knowledge, and my care and commitment to this community.
All right, very good. And finally, we have Diane Crummell. Diane, welcome to the forum. She's the Democratic candidate for District 2. For District 2. Diane, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I'm a lifelong resident of Pensacola. I graduated from UWF, owned my own successful business for more than 35 years. I've been the voice of the people for countless local meetings. I led the movement known as Save Pensacola Beach that stopped the privatization of our beloved beaches. I have a track record of getting things done and working on behalf of the people. I have the mental, ethical, and moral character necessary to deal with the most pressing problems this nation has faced since the Great Depression.
Very good. Welcome to all of our candidates. And before we get started, I just want to take a moment and say, I appreciate that you all run. You make our democracy thrive. It's a courageous thing to run for office, and it's difficult, unpleasant, especially this year. So thank you all for putting your hat in the ring and trying to become a representative. Now, some of you already addressed this in your opening remarks, but I wanted to give you a little bit more time. The general format we're looking at is 40 seconds at a time. Obviously, it's a little hard to see the timer that anybody might be showing, so do your best. Just for a moment, tell us who has endorsed you, and just maybe give us an idea of who is supporting you with official endorsements. I'm gonna try my best to rotate as we go around. If I fail, please forgive me. But again, we're gonna start over in District 1 with the incumbent Mike Hill. Who endorses you?
(2020) Florida. Is my mic back on now? Looks like I've been muted. Okay,
it's on.
I'm back on. Okay, Trump Team 2020 Florida. I've been endorsed by the Florida Family Council, which is the Florida arm of the Focus on the Family. I've also been endorsed by Florida Right to Life. I've been endorsed by those organizations that are conservative, not unions of the state that have not endorsed me, but conservative organizations have. The ones that understand that life and protecting our guns and President Trump's America First agenda is necessary for District 1 and for our state.
Very good. Michelle Salzman, who has endorsed you?
Andrew, I'm sorry that you don't find value in the police endorsement or the firefighter endorsement. I'll be sure to share that message, Mike. I'm also the only candidate with an A rating from the NRA. And of course, that is the nation's largest and most powerful gun rights organization. So I think that I'll pass that on to Marion Hammer as well, that's not, important to you. But I think that the most important thing for a small government or a real conservative are the three values that we hold true, which is safety, infrastructure, and education. And if you're not endorsed by any of those organizations, then you're certainly not that true conservative small business person.
So I know some of the other forums allow for, if you've been name checked to talk back. We just don't have enough time to do all of that, but I'll try to go in reverse order every time. So you'll have a chance to respond if you need to subsequently. Francine Mathis, you are a candidate for District 1. Who endorses you?
I've been endorsed by the Environmental Caucus. I've also been endorsed by Love of Life Outreach Ministry, as well as Ladies with a Heart Stands for Justice. Those are the three people that have endorsed me so far.
Very good. In District 2, Alex Andrade, who has endorsed you?
Thanks, Andrew. So I'm really privileged to have been endorsed by Florida Right to Life. I've been endorsed by the National Rifle Association. I've been endorsed by the Police Benevolent Association, the Firefighters Association, by Congressman Matt Gaetz, the Florida Medical Association, and Governor Ron DeSantis. And I'm proud to say I'm the only state representative in Florida to be endorsed by our governor today.
Very good. Chris Joseph, who has endorsed you? Hold on just a second. I'm not hearing you yet. Here you go. Go ahead. Who has endorsed you, Chris?
I'm very proud to announce that Trump Team 2020 Florida has endorsed me with an A rating. In addition, Florida Family Council has also, with John Stenberger's group that advocates for pro-family and pro-life advocacy, they also have endorsed me. And so I'm very proud of those endorsements because I'm a pro-family, pro-life, pro-gun. In fact, I'm a lifetime member of the NRA. I received their highest rating as an A. In addition to that, I'm also a member of the International Defensive Pistol Association, an active shooter at the Escambia River Gun Range. So people know that I live that life. It's part of my life. And I'm very proud to not only be a pro-life advocate, but also a pro-gun advocate.
And finally, Diane, who has endorsed you?
Okay, let's see. The Amalgamated Transit Union 1395 has. The Emerald Coast Equality has done that for me as well. The Environmental Caucus of Florida has done that. The Gulf Coast International Association of Black Professional Firefighters of the Gulf Coast chapter has endorsed me, and Earth Action. And I've also have the Escambia Democratic Women's Club has endorsed me as well.
Very good. Now going to some of the issues. This is probably the easiest of all the questions. We'll see how it goes after this. For the moment, I'm going to go in just straight out reverse order. So Diane, you get to go first. Your District 2, you want to be a representative for District 2. What do you think is the biggest issue facing District 2, and what do you want to do about it?
Okay, I'm going to say that the biggest issue facing District 2 has to deal with character. And dealing with things. I just want to see all these flyers that have been going out from Representative Andrade. I just want to say that I deal with the issues, and he's dealing with who's the biggest supporter with Trump. But I believe that the most important issue we're dealing with right now is the pandemic. We are dealing with this pandemic in the future and how we're going to recover from this. But I deal with the issues. That is my focus. Whereas the other candidates are dealing with who is the biggest Trump supporter. And I care about the people, and that's who I'm going to work for.
Chris Joseph, what's the biggest issue facing District 2 that you want to get addressed this year?
I think the biggest issue facing District 2 is sending someone to Tallahassee with honor and integrity and character, and doesn't spend all his time attacking a rival and not spouting his own credentials and accomplishments. Sending someone that's untrustworthy and misrepresents the truth to Tallahassee is bringing more creatures into the swamp. He's comfortable there, and it's time for people to go to Tallahassee that understand that government imposing their will on the people is the fundamental problem of our society.
And Alex, what's the most important issue facing your district, and what do you want to do to get it addressed?
it's the most important issue facing House District 2 this coming year is going to be our shortfall in sales tax revenue we're not collecting right now. I can tell you right now, after I left session, after we set aside $4 billion in reserves to prepare for the economic crisis being caused by COVID-19, that we knew we were going to be facing a serious crisis. It's why I called 50 constituents a day since March to check up on them, to make sure they had the resource and information they need from the governor's office and from Tallahassee and at the state level. But no, you need people who understand our budget. You need people who understand how to cut issues in our budget, not just shift money from side to side, because we need to be cutting our budget in a way that doesn't hurt our constituents, makes ends meet, and continues focusing on things like our infrastructure, flood prevention, and our water quality. Because no matter what our budget is next year, we're still going to be facing those issues, and we have to be prepared to bring those dollars home because we're still a donor region of the state. And if we are going through an economic crisis like we are right now, you need legislators who understand our budget to bring those dollars home.
And now switching to District 1, Francine Mathis, what is the biggest, most pressing issue facing your district that you'd like to get addressed in the coming year?
It would definitely have to be the environmental issue. Wedgewood has been in justice of an environmental ingest for the last, I would say, 10 years now. Our water is toxic, our water is polluted, our air is polluted. I was just out there around the landfills. That's why my voice is kind of cranky and I'm scratchy and itchy. The air pollution is killing the people in my district. And I don't think nothing's more important than saving people's lives. For years, we have talked to state reps about what's going on in our district. We have gotten a deaf ear from all our state reps. No one has listened to us. No one has taken the time out to even, try to come out and really talk with us about this. And people are dying. And I'm sick of going to funerals. So we've got to end this. So my biggest thing is getting rid of these landfills, getting ECUA to work with me on getting covers and linings over our water. And that's my biggest issue, getting covers and linings over the water lines and getting rid of these landfills.
All right, very good. Just a reminder, I don't know if you guys can see the timer, but we're shooting for about 40 seconds on the answers. Michelle Salzman, what is the biggest issue facing District 1 and what do you want to do about it?
I would have to say that, agreeing with Alex, it is definitely going to be the budget. With our lack of sales tax revenue, we are going to have to be really creative in what we do cut in order to make sure that we maintain that balanced budget. But at the same time, I just want to revert back to the whole reason why I'm running, and that is to bring more focus back to safety, infrastructure, and education, especially for District 1, as well as making sure that I do fight for some of those appropriations dollars for our community.
Very good. And Mike Hill, what is your most pressing issue as far as you're concerned in District 1? What do you want to do about it?
The most pressing issue is going to be opening our business back up, job creation. You do that, and that's going to take care of our sales tax shortfall. And we do that by allowing businesses to operate how they see best, not how government thinks they should. We reduce unnecessary regulations. We reduce and remove as many licensing fees that we can, and we reduce taxes on our business. Escambia County is one of the highest tax counties in the state, and we need to fix that. You do that, jobs will be created, and people will be able to work. And
all right, very good. We're going to run into a little bit of a time oddity because we're supposed to take a break at 6 o'clock at the top of the hour. So I'm going to start this question, and hopefully we can get through at least one district's worth of answers. Otherwise, we'll have to continue it after the break. But the next question we're going to start in District 1. This time we'll start with Michelle Salzman. She hasn't gone first yet. Michelle, what's your definition of success in Tallahassee?
Oh, thank you. That'll probably be one of my favorite questions. I would say success is the ability to work with your fellow legislators and get something done to bring some real results back to the community. It's important that we have somebody that is effective and not just cheerleading for a cause. I feel like we could really get some good stuff done if we have somebody over there that's willing to work with the other constituents and not just sit, in their own silo.
All right, very good. And Mike Hill, what is your definition of success in Tallahassee?
Success in Tallahassee is doing the only thing that we're supposed to do when we go to Tallahassee, and that is pass a budget. And I would like to see that budget shrink instead of growing. It's growing each year, which means more of a burden on our constituents. What I'd like to see instead is less taxes, lower government, smaller government, individual responsibility, and personal freedom. That's what I like to see done for my constituents. That's going to make the entire state better.
Very good. And Francine, what I'm going to have to do is pick you up after the break. We have a hard break here in about 15 seconds. I'm Andrew McKay. I host the Pensacola Morning News from 5 to 9. You're listening to News Radio 92.3 and AM 1620 and the Pensacola Young Professionals Debate Forum with our District 1 and District 2 House of Representative candidates in the state of Florida. All right, I think we are back on the air again. We're all learning how to do this on a different platform and over the air and everything else. But my thanks to PYP for putting this all together. I think we're ready to take some questions for all of the candidates for District 1 and District 2 for the State House from Olivia McNally, who is with the Seville Rotary. Olivia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Andrew. Hi, everyone. I'm Olivia McNally, Seville Rotary President and a founding member. Rotary is an international service organization whose purpose is to bring together business and professional leaders to provide humanitarian service and to advance goodwill and peace around the world. It is a non-political and non-religious organization open to all. Rotary International is the world's first service club organization and has more than 1.2 million members in 33,000 Rotary clubs in over 200 countries worldwide. The greater Pensacola area is home to 12 Rotary clubs, with the oldest being over 100 years old. Seville Rotary is the newest Rotary club in Pensacola and was founded to reach a new and different audience. We celebrated our 10th anniversary last spring. Our regular meetings are held Tuesday evenings at 5:15 p.m. at Seville Quarter in Rosie O'Grady's and by Zoom. We also have regular service projects and socials. Some of the not-for-profits that have benefited from Seville Rotary include Boys and Girls Club, Capstone, eCare, First Tee, Gulf Coast Kids House, Junior Achievement, MANA, and United Way. We also partner with West Pensacola Elementary. We have spent countless hours volunteering with these organizations. It is through these efforts and donations that Seville Rotary makes our community a better place to live, play, work, and grow. Our signature event is Arrogant Steak Cook-Off, typically held in October. That event allowed us to put $30,000 back into the community last year. We are still determining what, if any, kind of event we will be able to have this year and next spring. Rotarians guide the things we think, say, and do by the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And in newer number 5, we've added, is it fun? The Rotary theme this year is Rotary Opens Opportunities, and we've had some changes to the regular weekly meeting format. The best place to follow and get information on our weekly events is our Facebook page. You can follow us at facebook.com/Seville Rotary. We have collaborated on the candidate forum several times now with PYP and News Radio 92.3. We appreciate the opportunity again this evening. Thank you all for joining us. So, to my questions, Andrew, do you tell me who to start with? All right, I will just start with our first question. We were told that we have 3 questions, and I will start with, I guess we'll go back to District 2. So,
And yes, I know we still need to finish up the first question with the other candidates. We'll get to that as soon as Olivia is done with her stuff. Sorry about that.
okay, I'll start with Chris. Chris, what would you do to encourage growth while maintaining the character of our community? We can't hear you.
We need to unmute Chris. There we go.
Now?
Yes.
Okay. Great question, Olivia. I think the first thing we need to do is address infrastructure issues. You have a lot of Pensacola that's still under septic. You have roadway problems north of Pensacola, and those kinds of things are fundamental responsibilities of state government. And so I think that we, just like in the bridge being built now across Pensacola Bay, we need to address those things that would make people want to live closer in the town, because as they are closer in the town, it allows them for us to provide services like both police and fire in a more efficient manner. So, I studied in the College of Civil Engineering, University of Florida, got my land surveying. So I'm very familiar with land development and what a community needs and to be able to grow in efficient yet sustainable manner. I bring those types of credentials to the table.
Thank you. Same to you, Diane. What would you do to encourage growth while maintaining the character of our community?
Well, I will say that the beaches are the economic engines that drive our coastal communities. So I would want to put in place to be sure that we have safeguards to protect and preserve those beaches. We rely on them for tourism, and I believe that it's really essential that we do take care of our beaches. And then, we have to realize too that, that people are living differently now. They're not doing things the way they normally did. So we need to take into consideration that people are now buying online and doing things differently. So we need to adjust the way that we are doing things here in Escambia County and be ready for those. We need to come up with more innovative ways to get the people to be involved and get them to show up here in Pensacola and spend our dollars here. But there's lots of things that we can do, but protecting and preserving our beaches, which is the economic engine, is the number one thing that we need to focus on. It is the means that actually the goose that lays the golden eggs, and it helps keep our economy going. So we need to keep our focus on that, and that would allow to keep our businesses downtown and other businesses in our area open
Thank you.
and running.
And same question to you, Alex. What would you do to encourage growth while maintaining the character of our community?
Thank you very much for that question. So if some of y'all remember, the kind of incentive-based model of economic development has become a dinosaur, and COVID-19 provides one of the most essential opportunities for a place like Pensacola to grow. And that is, if young people are doing more of this, working remotely, being able to communicate with teams online, and they can choose where they want to live. They can choose to live in Pensacola. I know there are several people starting their careers in the middle of their careers, actually, putting down roots again in Pensacola that they never thought they could when they moved to Atlanta or Chicago or New York or Detroit. So the main focus needs to be quality of place. I'm proud to say that I'm the first state representative to bring back money for sewer conversions in the Brownsville commercial corridor. I'm also, I helped get $500,000 to take advantage of a $2 million water quality grant last year to help improve our Pensacola Bay. And so focusing on our quality of place, our traffic, our infrastructure, our flooding in our environment is the best way to incentivize people to come here in this post-COVID world.
Thank you, Alex. All right, and now to Francine. What about you? What would you do to encourage growth while maintaining character?
The thing that I think I would focus on is development. There is a lot of land in the northeast, in the north side of my district that really need to be developed. I think if we do more development and we give more educational opportunities to people, that will keep the people here in Pensacola. There's a lot of young people that get really good education right here, but because of the lack of development, the lack of jobs, they leave. They do go to Atlanta. They do go to Texas. And I think if we were to do more development in District 1, give more educational opportunities, that we will be able to keep the growth in our district and keep the people in Pensacola, and even bring people from Atlanta to Pensacola. And that's what I think.
All right, thank you. How about you, Mike? I'll repeat it again. What would you do to encourage growth while maintaining the character of our community?
Well, I would use a recipe that we know works to cause economic prosperity and growth. And that's lowering taxes, reducing unnecessary fees, and getting rid of unnecessary regulations. That will attract businesses to the area. We would then have to rely on the county commissioners to come up with a good growth plan to accommodate those businesses who are coming here. I would also reintroduce again my bill that would bring rural economic development to Escambia County. Escambia has been identified, some parts of it, as a brown zone. We can bring in businesses that want to invest in doing that by setting up manufacturing in the area and hiring people in the area without having to take tax breaks from the constituents in throughout the state of Florida and in District 1. So that's what I would do.
Okay. Thank you. And Michelle, what about you? What would you do to encourage growth while maintaining the character of our community?
Well, I think one of the most important components is going to be the relationship that we have with the military, with the Navy base. We have a huge opportunity in the educational component of our community, and to create an atmosphere that is welcoming to military to come here, for leadership to want to have their military come and train here. We have to make sure that our community and the environment of our community is ready for those military personnel. So I would say the most important thing is to make sure that we are doing what we can for our education, for our infrastructure, to make sure that the military feels like it's a great place for them to keep their soldiers, their sailors training here locally. I am really excited about the partnership that the Chamber of Commerce has with our military and the efforts that they're making to try to fill some of those gaps that we have. I also want to make sure that I do talk about the fact that, you know, entrepreneurialism is the spirit of all real small businesses, and we really need to make sure that we are fostering those relationships with the small business development community, as well as nonprofits and organizations and small business leaders that mentor other entrepreneurs, because the heart of America is the small business owner.
Right. Thank you, everybody. And Andrew, I've been informed that we have to take our other breaks, so I'm not going to be getting to my other questions, but thank you all.
I think there's a lot of questions we're not going to get to, and I understand. You know, I also wish we had more time. Yeah, we're going to take a real quick break. I'm going to do a couple of housekeeping things and get things back on track, but we will definitely be sure to give Francine, Alex, Chris, and Diane a chance to answer that other question about governing philosophy and success. We're going to take a short time out. I'm Andrew McKay. We're here on News Radio 92.3 with the and FM and AM 1620 with the candidates for House District 1 and District 2 in the state of Florida, put together by the Pensacola Young Professionals, along with the Pensacola Young Professionals and the Chamber of Commerce. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back here in just a moment.
What you losing? You doing all that? I wouldn't be doing all that. I'll just stay on there until I'm done.
All right, I think we're back in business. As far as I know, we're on the air again. Like I said, we're just kind of all learning the new technology, which is fun. I'm Andrew McKay, host of the Pensacola Morning News. It's News Radio 92.3 and AM 1620 in conjunction with the Pensacola Young Professionals and the Chamber of Commerce. And before we get too far away from it, I do want to go back and just make sure we give everybody a chance to answer that question that was before the top of the hour. I think we still have Francine Mathis. Francine, what would be your definition of success in Tallahassee? We have Francine with us? There we go.
I'm here, but okay, there it is. I come in and I come out. Well, there I am. Okay, I'm with
There
you.
we go. Yeah, you're good. What is your definition of success in Tallahassee? This is trying to finish up that first round of questions from the beginning of the show.
Oh, well, my meaning of success in Tallahassee is to get some bills passed, to not be the biggest loser in Tallahassee in the session and not get any bills passed, and to get some issues and concerns knocked out that my constituents would like to see, get solved. There's a lot of issues in District 1 that has been overlooked for several years that no one has even tried to look at or even discuss. So I don't want to just discuss them. I want to solve them. And I want to get the bills passed that's going to solve those problems, and that's going to make a better district, a more productive and progressive district for District 1. So that is what I would like to do. And especially if I can't do nothing else, give me 2 bills to get passed.
All right,
That's
next up, switching to District 2, Chris Dosev is first up. Chris, what is your definition of success in Tallahassee?
Removing all impediments for folks trying to start new businesses. And so not so much getting more bills passed, but removing regulations and impositions of ordinances, and also readdressing the issue of home rule. I'm really very uncomfortable with people in Tallahassee dictating, like in the case of the 5G, AT&T 5G, those issues that should be locally controlled by either the city or the county. That is so fundamentally against our conservative values that I think it needs to be addressed and it needs to be reversed.
Very good. I think Alex is next. Alex, what's your definition of success in Tallahassee?
Well, everybody knows that the state has the broadest jurisdiction of any governmental body. So when you say your definition of success, it can mean a lot of different things, but my definition of success is that I keep my promise to my constituents. That I'm the most responsive state representative I could possibly be. That I move the conservative causes that I tell constituents I'm fighting for to another step in the right direction. That I make sure that as many of the tax dollars that are being taxed from our local citizens is coming back in a good, useful manner. Did I make sure that the taxes that we were actually assessing on Floridians was the proper amount? Florida is the freest state in the country. I'm so incredibly proud of the fact that we passed the most historic deregulation bill in Florida history this past session. So as long as we're moving those conservative needles forward, the ones that I am so proud to champion in Tallahassee, and as long as I'm being a responsible steward of the taxpayers' dollars, I'm proud of the work I'm doing in Tallahassee.
And finally, Diane Crummell in District 2. What is your definition of success over in Tallahassee?
Well, I can tell you that success in Tallahassee is not just cutting a budget. That definitely is not the answer. I believe that success is when you work on shared ideas that works for everybody and not just a select few. And I believe that, we need to get out there with the folks, and I know how to get things done. I've had 30 years of experience working out there in the community. However, I can tell you success is not when you have 300 deaths, today just from COVID. And we have an unemployment system that doesn't work. I don't consider that success. We need those things fixed. And abandoning our public beaches, those, right when you're elected to do something, Alex, you had the opportunity to do something. I don't consider that success. So we need to work as a community. I'm going to go up there and advocate for the people, not just a select few, and work on policies that reflect the people that I will be elected to serve. That is what success looks like. It's working for the people and being an advocate for them, listening to them, and then creating and developing policies that reflect the will and the needs of the people.
Very good. And just a reminder kind of to all the candidates, I know on your screen it shows a little kind of 10 seconds and time's up. Just kind of do your best, please, to keep within those margins. That'll allow more people to speak and more questions to get answered. I think we've got a video now from Ray Walker with the Chamber Policy Committee, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all want to go ahead and play that video for us?
Good evening. I'm Ray Walker, Vice Chair of the Greater Pensacola Chamber and Chair of the Policy Committee. I want to welcome you to this year's PYP Candidate Forum. The Chamber is the voice of the Pensacola business community and its chief advocate. Our Policy Committee meets monthly to discuss the key issues that affect our members on the federal, state, and local levels and to take the lead on its advocacy. We are forming issue subcommittees to address key concerns in our community and engage our membership to find solutions. We are excited to be a sponsor and part of this year's PYP Candidate Forum. Thank you for joining us.
Very good. And I'm going to be asking the questions on behalf of the chamber. We're going to have time for one, I think, and that's about Medicaid. And let's see, who has not gone first? I think the Democrats are due up to go first. So I'm going to start with you, Diane. Do you support Medicaid expansion in Florida, whether it's by legislature or through referendum? And do you support having a referendum on Medicaid expansion in Florida?
I absolutely support Medicaid expansion. It will bring health. It will actually serve the most needy in our community, and we need this. It will. Well, let me just rephrase this. 68% of the Floridians believe that Medicaid is necessary. It will take the burden off of our small businesses and allow our businesses to prosper and do better. And when we have health care for all Floridians, especially those that are most in need of it, then, we have better opportunities for businesses. Businesses want to come here and they want to, people want to come and live here and raise their families. I believe it's a better opportunity for all of Floridians if we do expand Medicaid.
Very good. Alex Andrade, should we expand Medicaid? And do you support expanding Medicaid in Florida? And do you support it by a referendum or by legislative action?
No. So what I think a lot of people miss in the Medicaid process is, one, where's that money going to come from? We're facing a budget crunch this year, and the state is on the hook for 40% match of every federal dollar that is coming down from DC to fund healthcare. We simply cannot afford it. It's already over 40% of our state budget. We're facing one of the biggest budget crunches in Florida history, and we just don't have the money. What we should be doing, however, is making sure that the state of Florida is not subsidizing Medicaid. Right? So I'm very proud that I identified an issue where our school districts were actually subsidizing Medicaid by providing medical services to students in schools that were actually Medicaid eligible. So I passed the bill this year that's going to save the state $50 million every single year going forward, and it will go back to school districts every single year going forward and expand mental health services, physical therapy, speech pathology in the process. Healthcare is a complicated issue. Making sure we know how to pay for it is necessary, especially in a time like this.
Chris Dosev, same question. Do you support Medicaid expansion in Florida, and do you prefer to see it by referendum or by legislative action?
I do not support Medicaid expansion. I think what we need to do is, by bringing good paying jobs and corporations down here, or businesses, allowing people to operate their businesses with reasonable costs for medical services, a lot of these things can be remedied. When people have jobs and when people are back to work, then all of a sudden they have opportunities to get medical care or medical coverage and insurance. The issue here is that you have people that don't have access to those things because they don't have jobs, at least not good paying jobs, because we are, after all, for most part, a tourism industry state, and that's a big, big deal. It'd be nice to have some of these, say, more sophisticated industries come and take up home and nest here in Florida.
All right, very good. Now switching over to District 1, Francine, you're up first. Do you support Medicaid expansion in Florida? Do you want to see it by referendum or by legislation? She seems to have gone off on our screen here, so if she comes back on, we'll give her a chance to answer it. Let's move instead to, I think next up is Mike Hill. Mike, do you support Medicaid expansion, and do you want to see it by legislation or referendum?
I do not support Medicaid expansion. In 2020, the health portion of our budget was $20 billion. This past session, it's over $30 billion. And the largest portion of that is Medicaid. That is an unsustainable trajectory. When people talk about Medicaid expansion, Medicaid, you have to understand, is for the elderly, the disabled, and the poor. And when they talk about Medicaid expansion, they're talking about giving it to able-bodied adults. We can't afford that. And a study has been done which has proven that those who are on Medicaid actually have clinical outcomes that are worse than those who have no insurance at all. Expanding Medicaid is not the answer. The answer instead is to make sure that it's used for what it was intended for, the poor, the elderly, and disabled, and that's it.
Michelle Salzman, do you support expanding Medicaid in Florida by referendum or by legislation?
I do not support Medicaid expansion. I think that the main focus we need to have is getting people back to work so those people can then get their health insurance. I would like to say that one thing we should be doing is looking for innovative solutions to Medicaid, such as telemedicine, so we can cut costs on Florida as it is, as well as possibly doing the borders cross the state border stuff. So maybe if you're in Florida, you can get medicine or care in Alabama. Just the main focus, though, is to look for innovative solutions so that we can reduce the cost of Medicaid instead of increasing it.
All right, very good. And I think now we're going to have Melissa Stoker from PYP ask a question. Melissa, are you there?
Good evening.
Hey,
First, if you don't mind, access to workforce housing is becoming incredibly difficult, not only for young professionals, but for professionals in general in our area. And our city has commissioned an affordable housing task force. The county's put together a program with HUD, and our city and county leaders are very closely aligned on this issue. We are curious to know how you are going to take that at the state level and work to solve these issues for us.
All right, I think if we're rotating properly, I think next up would be actually Mike is who just went, but I think Mike is the next one in District 1. Mike, you want to go ahead and answer that question on workforce housing?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, there's an awful lot of static that I'm hearing online. I couldn't quite hear the question. I heard it was something about affordable housing, but I didn't quite hear the entire question.
Yeah, I'll repeat it for you. Access to workforce housing has become difficult for many young professionals in our area. The city has commissioned an affordable housing task force, and the county has begun a program with HUD. City and county leaders are closely aligned on this issue. How will you work with them at a state level to continue solving these problems?
But the first thing I would do is make sure that government doesn't get in the way. Whenever you find that there's a housing shortage or there's a shortage of what is called affordable housing, it's because of regulations that government have put on builders, developers, and on businesses that create this shortfall, instead of letting the free market determine what that's going to be. When you talk about affordable housing, you're talking about being able to afford, let's say, a 2 or 3 bedroom home, 2.5 baths, is what everyone wants. But not everyone can have that when you first start out. I didn't when I first started. You get government out of the way, you let people earn a good living wage, and then eventually they're going to be able to afford the type of housing they want.
Michelle Salzman, how will you work with the city and the county on affordable housing, and especially obviously from the state level?
I'm really more focused on state level issues. I would look at possibly fixing some zoning solutions. I know nobody really wants, a tiny house next to them, but I don't think that's an issue for the state level. We do like workforce housing, but I don't think that's really a state level conversation. I think that's more local government.
And Francine Mathis, what would you do to work with the city and the county on affordable housing issues? Oh, I'm sorry, she's not here still. My fault. Switching over to District 2, Alex Andrade, you're up first. Alex, what would you do for workforce housing and affordable housing?
Well, the first thing that we tried to do before the COVID crisis struck was not sweep the Sadowski Affordable Housing Trust Fund. That's a constitutionally instituted trust fund where a certain amount of doc stamps is actually funneled through to help people stay in their homes or help first-time home buyers finance those homes. But no, the government should not be in the business of picking winners and losers. The market should be able to respond based on demand. So long as we're not getting in the way, so long as our insurance regulations aren't causing unreasonable spikes in insurance, our regulations of things like our utility companies is not overly burdensome, there are going to be enterprising contractors and enterprising developers who will try and take advantage of specific markets at specific price points. So the government does need to get out of the way. I'm proud of the fact that I'm considered one of the subject matter experts on construction litigation in Tallahassee right now, and I get to work on continuing to drive down those costs and those construction costs for first-time home buyers.
And Chris Joseph, regarding affordable housing, what would you do to help the city and the county have better affordable housing, workforce housing?
First thing we need to do at the state level is remove all the monies that are going to the state from our communities. They don't need to be going there to come back to us. If the money would have stayed here in the municipalities and in the county, they would have that much more for the city to help local area developers and prospective homeowners, people who would like to buy a home and fix it up, regentrify a community. That stuff is a local area issue. Melissa, that's a great question. And I'm here to tell you, cities and counties are much more effective at addressing that sort of thing than the state is. Because what will happen is money will go to the state, and whoever's got the strongest pull, whether it's South Florida or mid-Florida, and you'll see none of it coming back here. What we need to do is stop that money leaving here and keep it right here so it can be given to young people like you all to do the things that they want to do to revamp a neighborhood and make it an affordable community that they can prosper.
And finally, Diane Crummell, what would you do to facilitate or improve workforce housing, affordable housing in Pensacola and Escambia County?
Well, I believe that it's going to become an even more serious issue as we move forward dealing with COVID and the pandemic. And I believe that we do need to get involved and that we need to step up. I think we need to incentivize and work with developers and give them tax credits, but we need to also monitor them closely and make sure that they are fulfilling and doing what is required for those areas that we do need affordable housing. I absolutely believe that we need to do something. To do nothing is not an option. The people are relying on us to take care of them. And that is a job that we were elected to do and that we are elected to do. So I say that we do step up and that we do get involved and find a way to improve the infrastructure and bring some incentives here to make affordable housing more available to the people here. And it is going to be a problem in the coming months. People are going to be getting evicted from their homes. It's going to be a big deal, and we need to fix it.
All right, very good. Melissa, are we good?
We can be, absolutely.
Okay. All right, very good. So we're going to have to take another break in just a couple of minutes. We're going to switch gears just a little bit. And again, our thanks to the Chamber of Commerce, for Pensacola Young Professionals for putting this on, in Seville Rotary. Of course, you're listening on News Radio 92.3 and AM 1620 to a candidate forum with the state representatives, District 1 and 2 candidates. We have all 6 candidates. Only 4 of them are involved in the primary coming up on Tuesday. The Democrats are unopposed. We have Diane Crummell, and Francine Mathis was with us, but I think we lost her due to internet connection. This is going to be an unpleasant question, only because it's a criticism for all of you, but the criticism is a little bit different for each of you. Let's start first with, I think next up on my list would be Alex Andrade in District 2. Alex, and by the way, this criticism kind of pairs. You'll notice that there are 2 candidates kind of for each criticism, but you'll follow me when you hear it. Alex, one of the criticisms of you is that you are too favorable in Tallahassee, too beholden to Tallahassee, and therefore more interested in what the state is doing rather than what is needed in the district. Persuade me that that's not the case.
Yeah, sure. I passed the most military-friendly family bill in a decade, in my first legislative session. What I take most pride in is when I actually get my constituents the responses they need from state agencies. I can tell you right now that every single day I'm handling constituent issues and making sure that they're getting the responses they need. You can knock me for being effective, but my effectiveness doesn't mean I'm beholden to anybody. It means I'm doing a very good job. It means I'm able to work with others and get money for this area that we have not had in years, to get bills passed for our area, for people that need it in our area that we haven't had in years. So no, I leave Tallahassee on Thursday, I come home, and every single constituent who's ever picked up the phone when I've called them to check up on them will tell you that I care deeply about the people of my district. And the only reason I'm running is because I know I'm the best for this job.
All right. Now, Chris Dosev, it's sort of the reverse question. I think you'll understand what I'm getting at. Opposite criticism is that you won't be liked in Tallahassee, that people won't want to work with you, that you're kind of strident and want to do your thing your way. Persuade me that that won't be the case, that you can work on a team.
Andrew, that is a great question. Let me tell you why. I came down to Florida back in 1980 as a student at the University of Florida, the kid from Chicago. In a matter of 4 years, I became the battalion commander of the Navy ROTC unit there and graduated one of my class in that NROTC unit. So here I was, not from Florida, but I was accepted by everyone and then heralded by my peers and my superiors as being the battalion commander of that unit. Doesn't matter where I go, I know how to work with people. People like me, and they do. And at the end of the day, when I work with people, I get results. We put together the team that named the bridge after General Chappie James. A lot of those people didn't know me, but when they did see my commitment to doing the work that needed to be done, they were very pleased, and we successfully did it. In fact, today, I received the Brereton Award from the Air Force Association in Fort Walton Beach. They give that award to the local area civilian that has best and the most effectively advocated for the Air Force in the state of Florida, and I received it today.
Very good. Diane, the question's a little bit different again for you. If you get elected to District 2, you will be working almost certainly in the minority party in Tallahassee in a legislature dominated by Republicans. The criticism would be that you won't be able to get any of your stuff done, even though you'll be there. Persuade me that that's not the case.
Well, I can tell you this much: when it came to saving Pensacola Beach and getting things done, I've created all kinds of relationships across the state and across party lines, and I've got the support when it came to protecting and preserving our beaches. So I know how to work across the state, and I know how to work across party lines to get things done. And I'm a doer. I'm a believer, and I work for the people. And when you do the right thing, people get on board. So I believe that that I am going to get things done because I have a way of and a track record of proving that I can work across party lines and get things done and work for the people. It matters. When you work for the people, there's no way to lose when you represent the people. And that's what I'm going to be fighting for. And that's who I'm going to be working for when I go to Tallahassee.
All right, switching over to District 1. These questions may seem a little bit familiar. Michelle Salzman, the criticism of you is that you're willing to compromise, that you sort of get along with a lot of the power players, maybe not yet in Tallahassee, but more so locally, and that you're going to be beholden to their interests rather than the interests of your constituents. Persuade me that that's not the case.
Sure. Well, I can start off by just saying, look at my campaign report. Like 90% of my donations are from citizens that actually live in my district, unlike my opponent. And the average donation is around $200, and there's about 500 donations in that campaign report. It was important to me that I showed everybody in the community that when I became that candidate, that I was the candidate that District 1 wanted. I actually qualified by petition during the pandemic to make sure that I showed everybody that it was the people that wanted me. I'm not beholden to anybody. I don't work for a big industry. I am a stay-at-home mom with a small business that I operate out of here. So there's nobody that I'm tied to. So I don't have any big donations. I've never ran for office before, so I'm not tied to that. And I don't work for a major industry that's going to fund me to run for office.
Very good. Mike Hill, similar question, a little bit different flavor for you. The criticism of you is that you have trouble getting along with other people in Tallahassee, that they don't want to work with you, your bills don't get heard, and they don't get passed. Persuade me that that's not the case.
Well, that's nonsense. First of all, I've been in Tallahassee, and one of the bills that I passed was to cut the cost of when you go to renew your license plate or to get a new license plate, cut it in half. That was a $400 million tax cut for the entire state of Florida and the people in Escambia County, the single largest at that time tax cut in Florida's history. You talk about bringing things back to the district. I was part of the appropriations process that was able to fund $400 million for our new 3-mile bridge. I was part of the appropriations process that is funding the construction work that you see on a 9-mile road and on Highway 29 and on Beulah Road. So this nonsense that is going around that Mike can't work with people in Tallahassee is just that nonsense. I'm bringing all kinds of things back to this district, including voting for giving our teachers pay raises so that they are now one of the top 5 teachers being paid in the nation. That's a pay raise for all the teachers in Escambia County throughout this state. I have a good record of working with people in Tallahassee and will continue to do so when I'm reelected.
And finally, I think we have Francine Mathis is back with us. Francine.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. If you get elected, you're almost certainly going to be in the minority party with very little political power in Tallahassee. That may mean that you're not going to be able to get any of the stuff you want done. Persuade me that that won't be the case.
Well, I have been to Tallahassee several times lobbying about direct file, also the environmental injustice. I have made some ties with some people in Tallahassee. So I know that I do have the people there that does respect and know, and they are about the same things that I'm about, and that's fighting for the people, and that's doing what the people needs for you to do to make a more progressive and productive district. So I do feel like I have the power and the fight and the will to go to Tallahassee and get done what needs to be done. Um, I'm kind of like what Michelle said. I don't have these big industries that I got to prove anything to and that I got to make promises to that I know I'm not going to do because it's not conducive to my district. So I'm not like Mike. I haven't been there for years and made promises that I know I wasn't going to keep. I'm someone new, someone ready to fight, and somebody that knows what needs to get done and who's ready and willing to get it done.
Very good. That's going to conclude this segment. We're going to take another quick break. I'm Andrew McKay. We've got the candidates for District 1 and District 2 for the state legislature. That's Mike Hill, Michelle Salzman, and Francine Mathis in District 1, Alex Andrade, Chris Dosov, and Diane Crummel in District 2. This is all being put together by PYP in conjunction with News Radio. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stick around. All right. Hey, am I still on? Hey, am I still on, y'all?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna come back in 4 minutes. I'm just trying to navigate everything that they were trying to accomplish here. If I'm not mistaken, reading this, Eddie Murray's going to give a 3-minute wrap at the top of the hour. Is that right, Ruthie? Ruthie may not be on. Okay, so we're going to do our best to get at least a couple more questions in, probably with the time, maybe only one, and then I'll give you a chance to wrap it up. And like I said, I think we're taking a break. I mean, we're getting at about 57 is we're going to let Eddie Murray wrap it all up, and then we'll be done after that. So let me just check one thing real quick. All right, we are back. I'm Andrew McKay. It's News Radio 92.3 and AM 1620. Final segment for the Pensacola Young Professionals Forum with the candidates for State House District 1 and District 2. We're still trying to hew to that 40-second per answer kind of format. Question that's a kind of one of our first real policy questions of the night. Every year, guns are a contentious issue. Democrats are trying to do things. Republicans are trying to do things. The difficulty of getting them passed, we all know. I'm just going to give everybody a chance to say this. If you could get one bill passed that you plan to try to get passed this year or help get passed, tell me the one you would like to see and persuade me that you can actually get it done. Let's see. I'm not sure who to start with first. Let's start in, I guess, District 1. Let's give Francine a chance to go first. Francine, tell me about a gun bill that you'd like to get passed and persuade me that you can actually get it done.
I would like to get a bill passed to where we up the age limit of getting guns. And how I can get that persuade is by just showing them the number of gun violence that we've had with young people in my district. We've had a lot of killings. We just had one where a 19-year-old boy just shot a 17-year-old girl. So it's time for us to get a little tougher on these gun laws and bills on the age limit. And I know some people may say, well, if you're 18 years old and you can go into the military and shoot a gun, then why can't you get one, out on the streets? Well, in the military, you're trained by professionals to shoot those guns. When you buy them from the store and you use it here, you're not trained by professionals. So I know that that's a bill that I can get passed because I can show the amount of people that have been killed by young people that has been able to carry a concealed weapon. And I can show the lives that they have taken. So that is going to be the bill that I would like to pass when I get into office.
And by the way, just a clarification question. Do you have a target age in mind? You didn't say one. Do you have an age you want for the minimum to purchase a gun?
Yes, I'm looking at 25. I think okay. 25. I just think that 21 is still growing.
That's fine. I'm not to cut you off, but I don't want to give you too much compared to everybody else. You didn't say that, and I was kind of curious what that would be. Michelle yes. Salzman in District 1, persuade me of a bill that you want to pass related to guns that you think you can get passed.
I think one of the most egregious bills would be, or parts of that Marjorie Stoneman Douglas bill would be the red flag laws. I think that I don't think we should have the red flag laws. I think that we should repeal that. There are so many things that we could be focused on for our safety of our people, and it certainly isn't laws on law-abiding citizens. Anything can be used as a weapon, and a gun just happens to be one of them. I would work across the board with all of my fellow Republicans and try to get that passed. I mean, all of us agree that it doesn't belong on there, just like a lot of other things. And unfortunately, it was just added to a bill in a time where everybody was operating off of emotion instead of off of, common sense. And hopefully we can work together to get that repealed.
Very good. Mike Hill, tell me a gun bill that you think you can actually get passed this year, that you want to get passed this year.
Well, I actually filed a bill to repeal 4 parts of the unconstitutional law that was passed after the Parkland shooting. It raised the age of who can purchase a long gun to 21. An 18 to 20-year-old cannot. It imposed a 3-day waiting period when you go purchase a weapon. It banned the buying or selling of a bump stock in Florida. And the very egregious red flag laws where somebody can have their weapons and their ammunition taken away from them simply because of an accusation that has been made. All of those are unconstitutional. So I filed a bill to repeal all of those. I said a solemn oath to protect and defend the Constitution. The Second Amendment is a vital part of that Constitution. A right to bear arms shall not be infringed. And so I will file that bill again and work with my legislators, my colleagues, to get it done.
All right, switching over to District 2 now. Chris Dosev, tell me a gun bill or a gun issue that you think you can get passed this year that is important to you.
Piggybacking on what Mike Hill said, I believe all 4 of those provisions in the most recently passed should be amended back to where they were. I think two of the components would probably be the ones that would be most, eligible for success. And that would be the repeal back to 18 years old on the age, and also removal of the red flag laws. In the big scheme of things, you got a Republican legislature, a Senate, and a Republican governor. I think that would be in the best interest of conservatives and Republicans to defend the Second Amendment vigorously. And I believe that can be done. After all, in the big scheme of things, we have the right to keep and bear arms. And if we don't defend that right in the state of Florida for our constituency, who else could they rely on to do it for them?
Alex
that's what I would-
Andrade, tell me about a gun bill that you'd like to get passed this year, and persuade me that you can actually get it passed.
Can you click it? Is that good? Okay. So I think one thing that everyone's missed so far is identifying the fact that we're a bicameral legislature. And to get anything passed, you need to make sure that the Senate's going to get on board with it. And the senators who are in charge of the Senate this coming year were the drafters of the law that you're talking about. So the only way to get anything fixed from that Marjorie Stoneman Douglas bill is to make sure that they understand that there were some unintended consequences. That's why Jerry Williamson and I last year worked on making sure that churches who meet on school property actually have the right to defend themselves again. That's why we're going to work again this year to make sure that passes in the Senate. I'm also looking forward to taking Nikki Fried to task for the games that she played during COVID-19 by saying she would not issue concealed weapons licenses because she, for safety reasons, couldn't fingerprint anyone who was applying for them. There are issues that we can get past, but you got to remember there are two bodies and both have to be on board with it.
Very good. And finally, Diane Crummell, District 2, tell me about a gun bill that you want to get passed and think you could get passed this year.
Okay, I believe that domestic violence, people that have been committed domestic violence, and those that are actually mentally insane, they should not be allowed to have the same guns as our police officers carry. I believe that 88% of the people believe that these folks should not be allowed to carry guns, and I really think I have the support to do that. Domestic violence is huge, and people with guns, they just don't mix. So and the mentally insane, they should not have the same weapons that are available to our law enforcement. And I believe I have the people that will back me on this. It just makes sense to protect those people that are most vulnerable to these
Very
crimes.
good. I think we're going to do something just a little bit different for 1 second. Eddie Murray, who is the president of Pensacola Young Professionals this year. Eddie, you wanted to say something to him real quick? I see you, Eddie. I cannot hear you just yet. Nice COVID beard, by the way.
Thank you so much, Andrew. No, I appreciate it. Hi, everybody. I'm Eddie Murray, president of the Pensacola Young Professionals. I just wanted to say real quick, thank you so much to the candidates tonight for having time to listen and tell everybody what amazing things that you can do in Tallahassee. Andrew, you rolled with the punches today, so I just want to say real quick, thank you so much. Thank you to our sponsors. We're going to be having a survey that's going to be going into our Facebook messages from PYP. So please take some time, fill out that survey. Just scroll down below. We're going to have it on there. And if you want more information on us, PensacolaYP.com. Thank you so much again, Andrew. And I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, that's it for us. We're out of time. Thanks for listening. We'll talk about it again in the morning. Thank you to all the candidates for participating. You guys did great bearing with the technical issues. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right. Yeah, sorry again about some of the glitchy element, but you guys did great bearing with us, trying